Hey everyone, it's Steph Wagner, dietitian on foodcoach.me, and I want to talk about the Atkins diet versus the bariatric or post-op diet. I know this is a really common question because bariatric diets are so low carb focused, and we often think of an Atkins approach to weight loss when we think of low carb diets. So Atkins versus the bariatric diet, they sound really similar, don't they? What are the differences? Well, first off, the Atkins diet is a low-carb diet, and based on their website, these days they have two different plans. If you need to lose 20 pounds or less, they have one plan, 20 pounds or more, they have another. And they recommend about 10 grams of carbs per meal, 3 meals a day, 5 grams of snacks, 5 grams at the snacks, and you have 2 of those a day. Whereas with the bariatric diet, first off, it varies a ton based on the bariatric program. Everyone's different, and I know that I'm in the minority. I'm very different from a lot of programs, and that's just a different line of thinking. It is a low-carb diet. It's a protein-focused diet. That's true across the board for most bariatric programs. In my practice, there's no gram counting, so I wouldn't tell you how many grams per meal, which drives some people nuts, but I believe it makes a healthier approach to eating, to focusing on the right foods and not counting everything and being a slave to the numbers. So I say focus on the lean protein and the non-starchy vegetables as the bulk of your meal. It's okay to have one fruit a day with the protein, but okay to do 0. So it'd be 0 to 1 fruit a day. And healthy fats such as nuts and salad dressing and avocado, it would be anywhere from 0 to 2 a day. And the 2 would just be if you needed it within lunch or within supper. Of course, no starchy foods or sweet foods because they are really high in sugars and carbohydrates. With the Atkins diet, there's a much more generous focus with fats and saturated fats. And so you can eat bacon. I've noticed that their frozen meals are really high in fat. They recommend regular fat cheeses, so a big focus on fats. They also focus on net carbs, where net carbs is where you take total carbs, you subtract the fiber, you subtract the alcohol, and it makes it look like a much prettier number, and they put it on the front of the package. So you notice on an Atkins package, it would have net carbs on the front of the package. But you'll also notice that it's not on the back of the package because net carbs is not an actual indicator on a nutrition label. It's more of a marketing thing. So with the bariatric diet, we are more mindful of fatty foods for a better quality of your diet and for caloric control. So we're not counting calories, but high-fat foods are going to be a lot of calories. And at the end of the day, we do want to eat less calories than we're burning for weight loss. So we're not calorie counting, but we do have to focus on restricting high-calorie foods. We also focus on the total carbohydrates instead of net carbs. So there's no subtracting, there's no moving numbers around. We just look at the nutrition label and say, what is the total amount of carbohydrates that would go into my body if I ate this? A little bit different from Atkins. So my take-home message is this. I don't recommend Atkins frozen meals because they're really high in fat. I don't recommend their indulgent bars because they are really high in carbs. They just make it look nicer because of their net carbs. That doesn't mean all of their products are wrong. Some products are totally okay. Protein shakes are great for the pre-op diet or your healing diet. Some of the protein bars are okay if the protein and the total carbs are pretty balanced, pretty close to each other. So it's not a one-size-fits-all. It's not all Atkins products have to be avoided or all Atkins products are okay. You just have to be mindful and look at the labels. And I also recommend using the leaner cuts of meat, the lower fat cheeses. So choose your turkey, bacon, turkey sausage instead of the pork variety, low fat, 2% cheeses, things like that. So you do still have to watch your fat content because it's a better quality of food and it's a lower calorie intake at the end of the day. I hope that helps clear a little bit up of how there's a lot of similarities, but there are some differences to Atkins diets.